That's the kind of race you have to ride in order to beat McGrath. This guy puts that much pressure on you. You have to ride the best ever in order to beat him. Well, the bad news is they're back here in Anaheim where McGrath has a great record.
The third member of our telecasting crew, David Coombs, he caught up with the two combatants in the pits earlier.
When the chase for the 2001 EA Sports Supercross crown started, it looked like it was going to be another Jeremy McGrath runaway. After he won the Anaheim opener, we thought we were going to see what we'd seen the last 7 out of 8 years, Jeremy way out in front. Well, that changed last weekend in San Diego when the guy on my left, Ricky Carmichael, gained his first nighttime win. Ricky, what did that victory at San Diego feel like?
Well, it was kind of a big load off my shoulder. You know, for the last 2 years, everyone's been putting a lot of, or the press has been, you know, having these high expectations of me, and I haven't pulled through, and finally I did. And you know, it was nice. I know I won Daytona last year, but to me that's not a Supercross, that's an outdoor event, and finally I won one with the lights on, and you know, it was a very special win to me, and I don't think any other win would top that. It was a good, clean, fun race, and I had a good time.
And what about you, Jeremy? Today at Anaheim, can you get back out front and get that 72nd career Supercross win, and more importantly, get the points lead back? Right now, you guys are tied.
Well, I guess if we're tied, I don't really consider I'm in second in points or anything. But, you know, I'm really happy for RC. You know, I remember my first win in 250 class here at Anaheim when I passed Jeff Stanton, and he was the man, you know, at that time. And I mean, that did so much for my confidence, and it just made me such a better rider. And, you know, last week we had some great dice in there in the first 8 laps, and you know, this week in Anaheim, I'm going in with the same game plan. I came to win the race. Everyone else comes to win the race, and you know, I put in some good riding this week, and I try not to beat myself up too bad after last week's race. And you know, hats off to RC. He rode a great race.
Well, that game plan has worked for Jeremy McGrath so many times in the past. We'll see if it works again here tonight at Anaheim.
David, Jeremy McGrath is known for coming right back. He is focused. He is on a mission tonight.
Well, you know, he's a dangerous man when he loses a race, and he just got a beating in San Diego. He didn't like it. And last year, Villeman beat him in Phoenix. He didn't like that either, and he won the next 4 races in a row, led all 80 laps. Jeremy needs to win here in Anaheim, where this track suits him a little better than it did last week, because if he doesn't, he becomes beatable in everybody else's minds. He knows he's got to get back on track here. There's more incentive for McGrath here tonight. The first leg of the Vans Triple Crown, the $500,000 bonus for the rider who can win tonight, again in Dallas, and the season finale in Las Vegas. He's never won the first round of the Vans Triple Crown. But tonight, he's at Anaheim, where he's won 7 out of 9 times, including the last 3 straight. With that $500,000 carrot out there, and the fact he's got 3 legitimate title contenders right there with him in the points, I believe he has the motivation and the advantage on the Carter-packed Anaheim track that has been called his house. But Ricky Carmichael has that look now. He knows what it takes to win. So what's the next step? Take a look at the points. Ricky is tied with McGrath, but he is also here in McGrath's house. He says he just needs to stay close until the series heads east and the tracks become softer and more to his advantage. But will he stick to that plan or make a costly mistake trying to prove he can beat McGrath anyway? Another rider to watch tonight is Ezra Lusk. I expect him to step up this week. The track suits him. He's only 5 points out of the lead. He finished second here 2 weeks ago. Plus, he was the last person to defeat McGrath here, winning the opening round of the Vans Triple Crown back in '99.
David, what about the invisible man now, Mike LaRocco? He passed Jeremy for second last week in San Diego. He's off to a great start like Lusk. He's only 5 points off the pace.
No, he's right there, but statistics will show you that he should finish third here tonight. Now, I've seen a new Mike LaRocco this year. He's got a lot under the hood. He's much more motivated. He's faster. His starts have been better, but not good enough. Here, it's too slick. I don't think he can come through the pack on this track the way he did last week.
Want to put you on the spot. Who's going to win? Who's going to take second?
Well, I'll tell you who's going to win. I don't know about second and all the rest. It's too hard to pick, but I tell you, I think McGrath can win here. First of all, he's motivated, and I don't think he would settle for second place. I think Lusk, Carmichael even, all the other guys, Wyndham, LaRocco would be happy to get second place. Jeremy is not.
Well, you heard it, fans, from the king of Supercross prognosticators. David Bailey has spoken. What about the racetrack now?
It is going to be hard and slick, and it's going to get worse throughout the night. There you see the start towards the bottom of your screen and make a sharp left, head into the first sharp right. That could get interesting right there because there's a lot of block passing going on. Then they work their way back across the bottom and across the starting line. They'll jump over this jump all the way over this over-under bridge. The first time we're seeing it this year. We'll see it some more. And they move on, a couple of right-handers into the first 2 sections of whoop-de-doos. A sharp left down the third base line, over another triple into the home plate. Down the first base line is another triple before they make the left go under the tunnel. And through that final whoop section you see highlighted right there. And I love the placement of this, because if you can go for a last-ditch effort, whoops is the best place to do it, and it's right before the finish line.
Everyone agrees a good start is essential on this track as the riders now readying themselves for heat number 1 featuring Jeremy McGrath, number 1, along with Kevin Windham, Travis Pastrana, Mike LaRocco, and others. That's Pastrana, number 199, and number 5, Mike LaRocco, right next to McGrath at the starting gate. They put their bikes in gear, revving the machines. Heat number 1 is underway.
You see the difference between LaRocco and McGrath right away.
2 former teammates out in front. It's McGrath in front. Steve Lamson and the Husqvarna in second. Kevin Windham in third.
I'll tell you what, Art, watching practice yesterday and this afternoon, it looked to me like Carmichael was a little faster than McGrath. He was jumping everything first, setting the pace, but when you look at McGrath's face and you watch the way he's riding his heat race so far, this guy is not kidding around.
We're going to have a good battle for second on with Steve Lamson and Kevin Windham of Team Suzuki. Windham trying to come out of his shell as they go in the over-under, which is so popular here. Here in the loops, Kevin Windham moves into second place. Kevin Windham with Steve Lamson now in third, but Jeremy McGrath safely out in front here in the first qualifying round.
I thought Windham looked the fastest of everybody through the whoops in the second practice session this afternoon. He proved it right there. It's about the only place I can see where he can make a good clean pass. Everywhere else, pretty tight.
Meanwhile, Travis Pastrana has his hands full back in 6th place with Mike LaRocco right behind him. Pastrana and LaRocco 6th and 7th. Remember, only the top 4 qualify out of this opening qualifying heat to go to the main event. The rest have to go to the semifinals where the top 5 would graduate. And then 2 riders come out of the last chance qualifier to complete the 20-rider gate for the 250 field.
Oh, Mike tried to stuff somebody right there and pick up a spot, and his front wheel washed out as well. So now he's definitely going to the semi.
Mike LaRocco along with Michael Craig.
A moment ago, he was shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow with McGrath. And because he can't get off the start and put in a good first lap, now he's got these problems, has to go to the semi.
Let's check it out once again with Mike LaRocco's situation as we see Steve Lamson, number 6.
Well, Mike's trying to cut right underneath right there. I guess that's Craig. He gets the front wheel up a little bit too high. Yeah, it is Craig.
It takes them both down. The veteran Michael Craig, who was a winner back in 1994 at the Tampa Supercross.
I believe part of that, Art, is just frustration. You know, get out of the way, because he knows he's a lot faster than Craig in the scope of the race. He wanted to get by right there and try to get into qualifying position, and he shouldn't be in that position, having to rush things.
Travis Pastrana, 199, Team Suzuki, starting the year on the 250s. Likely will go to the 125 East when it starts. Makes the pass on Steve Lamson.
Well, hopefully Travis learned a little bit from last week. He looked great here in round 1. He looked like a veteran on the 250. Then at San Diego, he looked like a beginner. Hopefully he learned something from that, and he's going to look good again and stay on 2 wheels.
Lamson's got a target on his back. The next appointee coming up is Michael Brown, number 100, as we go out to our leader now, number 1, Jeremy McGrath. McGrath just took off right from the hole shot.
McGrath is starting to get some pressure from Windham, though. Look how close Windham has got.
Does Kevin Windham on the Suzuki have enough time in this shorter qualifying heat? We'll find out when we return.
Hey, Tortilli. How about an autograph?
2 eager CEOs. One encouraged his employees to read the Wall Street Journal. The other did not. Let's join them for their 5-year anniversaries and see what happened. Imagine what the Journal could do for you. It's now easier to get the Journal to help you. Get 8 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just 37 cents a day. That's 50% off the regular rate. Call 800-469-1600. That's 800-469-1600 for the Wall Street Journal.
In 5 billion years, Earth has never seen anything like it. The Honda Rubicon. 500 cc's of extraordinary power and the most advanced automatic ATV transmission to ever run the planet, the Honda-matic. When you're the best on Earth, Earth is your only competition.
EA Sports Supercross, presented by Speed Stick, is brought to you by Suzuki, the reigning AMA 125 National Motocross and Arena Cross champion. By the completely new EA Sports Supercross, now available for your PlayStation. EA Sports, it's in the game. And by Honda, the company that defines performance on 2 wheels. Performance first. Welcome back to round 3 qualifying action 250s as we have a race on for first place. Kevin Windham, number 14, trying to pick up on Jeremy McGrath with half the race to go, David Bailey.
Well, the last time Kevin was here in a heat race with McGrath, he beat him. It wasn't because he was faster. Right now, he is faster than McGrath. We'll see if McGrath can make an adjustment.
Jeremy McGrath. This is a shorter qualifying heat, however. So he's got that on his side. As Kevin Windham now starts to lose a little ground.
Well, it doesn't bother Jeremy at all to have somebody back there. But I think Kevin's going to learn quite a bit from seeing him. And if he could put a pass on before the end of this thing, it'll really shake it up before the main, especially with Carmichael sitting on the line. Carmichael's rooting for Windham right now.
Jeremy McGrath trying to come back after that terrific battle with Ricky Carmichael in San Diego. And it looks like he's kind of cooled down now and is blitzing through those loops pretty well.
I didn't have my eye on McGrath when Windham made up all that time, but it looked to me like McGrath was turning a high 55-second lap times. Windham did a 55.5. Jeremy may have made a mistake at the same time. That's why the gap got so close. It's been about the same ever since.
Well, one of Jeremy's most outstanding championship characteristics is his motivation to come back after a loss. But he would love to pick off this heat win to get a top choice at the gate.
Yeah, you know, every time these guys go out there, it's a mental battle. Last week, Ricky Carmichael's heat race was 8 seconds faster than Jeremy. Since these are 8 laps, well, it's a second a lap. Jeremy right now is not just winning this heat race going, this is good enough. He's trying to win it and put in a fast enough time that it'll be compatible with whatever Ricky Carmichael can pull off in the next heat.
With 2 laps to go, you can count on Mike LaRocco going to the semifinal round along with Michael Craig involved in that crash. White flag is out for our leaders. Let's go trackside to Davey Combs. Davey?
Art, I want you and David to think about something here as Jeremy completes this last lap. The way the track is breaking down, it's a lot like San Diego was, tacky and slick and spots. Jeremy doesn't ride this very much. He no longer does the outdoor races, and the lines and the ruts are breaking down as if this were an outdoor track. That's going to play into Ricky's favor when it comes to the main event.
Getting through the lappers, number 1. He's getting by Michael Craig right there, number 39, and Kevin Windham is in pursuit in 2nd place. Travis Pastrana in 3rd. Steve Lamson is holding on to the final qualifying spot as Nathan Ramsey, a 125 East rider from Yamaha of Troy, is on the bubble. The checkered flag is waiting. The checkered flag is waving. Jeremy McGrath wins another of the many wins during heat race action, but he's right where he wants to be now anyway, David.
Yes, and before the end of that race, he turned a 55.4, the fastest we've seen yet. pulled back away from Wyndham, so he's not worried. He's right where he needs to be.
Look at this, a battle for the final transfer spot. Lamson, number 6, just edges number 28, Nathan Ramsey. Oh, what a race for that final spot. Mike LaRocco, number 5, will be going on to the semifinal round.
LaRocco rode back up into that mess, but it wasn't good enough, so he's going to get some more track time. I'm not sure he wants that.
Here's the Honda results page. Jeremy McGrath, Kevin Wyndham, Travis Pastrana, Steve Lamson making the main event. Ramsey, LaRocco, and the rest going on to the semifinal round. Let's go to Davey.
Thanks, Art. Jeremy, that was a no-nonsense heat race. It looked like Wyndham was getting a little close, then you settled down, gone.
Yeah, I kind of was slipping around a little bit in the middle, but can't say enough. I got a great start. That Mazda Yamaha was right out in front, and I was breathing a little bit hard in the beginning, you know, because I was beating myself up all week after San Diego and trying to forget about it and trying to relax. So, you know, if I can get another start like that in the main, we'll be styling.
How does this track compare to the first Anaheim track we saw 2 weeks ago?
It seems that this track is a little bit more tight. You know, you don't get going the speeds. You don't have the long sectional whoops. And some of the like a lot of 90-degree corners, you know, not 180s. And I think 180-degree corners are where you pass. And this track has a lot of 90s, so the inside lines are going to be faster. Tonight, the most important part is going to be a start, and I got to focus on a start.
Well, if you get another one like you got in that heat race, you should be in business.
I hope so. I hope I'm in business.
Can Ricky Carmichael match or better McGrath's time in qualifying? Heat number 2, as number 4 gets ready, is coming up next from Anaheim.
We're here at the biggest deal of the year. Party time at Page Time, and they're kicking things off with a blast. For a limited time, get a free numeric pager. Get the message? They're free. Plus, get a huge local coverage area and 2 months of free voicemail.
What a great way to keep in touch with friends and family.
But hurry, this party is just about over. It's simple. It's Page Time.
Hear what parents are saying about the most famous name in reading, Hooked on Phonics.
You should have seen him the first time he had one of the Hooked on Phonics books. He was running through the house. He was celebrating. Look, wait a minute, sit down. I want to read this book to you.
Hooked on Phonics guarantees you'll see an improvement in your child's reading in 4 weeks or your money back. You'll also receive the World Book Encyclopedia on CD-ROM. Pick up the phone now to order the Hooked on Phonics program.
Rivalry Week wraps with a Women's Hoops Classic. At 7, the coolest catfight in the game. Shea Ralph and Gino's Huskies battle Samika Randall and Pat Summitt's Lady Vols. At 9, it's back to the boys.
So, Coach V, what's up with Kenny Satterfield?
I mean, that dude's got game, man. He can flat out handle the rock.
Kenny Satterfield leads Bobby's Cats from Cincy in a fierce rivalry with the boys from Charlotte. UConn, Tennessee at 7. Cincinnati, NC Charlotte at 9. Tonight on ESPN.
San Diego was probably the significant win of my career because it was a long time in waiting, and I hadn't won a 250 Supercross with the lights on. I know I'd won Daytona, but that's not really a Supercross to me. And you know, hey, you know that win's awesome, but and it wouldn't be as special to me if I couldn't go out and win some more.
Ricky Carmichael makes it quite clear that beating Jeremy in a one-on-one showdown was far from his final goal. But during the back-and-forth battle, he could tell the fans were loving it.
And some of the slow turns where we were kind of battling with each other, you know, stopping and going and this and that, they were so loud, I don't even think I could hear my motorcycle.
In the past, Ricky claims he was too stressed to win. He decided to ride smart and let the wins come to him.
I know what I have to do to win. I know how to win now, so it makes it that much easier. It's like riding a bicycle. Once you learn how to do it, you can do it again.
Here with a packed house in Anaheim. Heat number 2 coming up at Edison International Field for the 250s, and Ricky Carmichael. With a sense of confidence after beating Jeremy McGrath in the main event last week, puts on his goggles there right next to number 21, Stepan Roncada, a teammate from Team Kawasaki. What's going through his mind right now, David?
top what Jeremy just did. Put together a faster heat race, 8 strong laps, and let Jeremy know it's going to be another fight.
Along with Carmichael, Ezra Lusk, David Villeman, Nicholas Way, Stefan Rancat, as we mentioned, Tim Ferry on the Yamaha 4-stroke, Damon Huffman, a former race winner at Atlanta. The cart is sideways. The machines are revving. Qualifying heat number 2 in the 250s is underway from Anaheim. Saying the start was important, and Villeman gets the hole shot.
That's a lot of hole shots for Villeman. He's got his start nailed. He's got to get the rest of the race nailed. I think he might be riding with a little bit of an injury as well. His ribs are still sore. I don't think he's 100%. He can't afford to slip much further back in the series.
Donald Upton out of Sun City, California. The DuPont Paint Suzuki is in second. The top 4 getting the transfer to the main, and now Ricky Carmichael moves swiftly into second by the number 117 bike.
Lusk followed him right by. Upton wasn't able to get through that section as good. The top guys do not make mistakes. They went right around him into second and third.
Villeman, Carmichael, and Lusk, the 3 top contenders out of this qualifying heat, completing the first lap. 7 laps to go.
You see Carmichael just slingshot out of that corner. He does that everywhere. Watch him here. No time wasted. Right back on the power. And just like that, closes up to the rear fender of Villeman. If you don't think that makes you nervous, think again.
I thought it was interesting today in the pits that Ricky Carmichael was not all smiles about his win over Jeremy last week. He's all business, focused on this race.
He says he wants to win this race, but he's not going to take a huge chance because he knows this is Jeremy's house. The surface suits Jeremy a little bit better, and he doesn't want to take a chance and throw away the championship. So if he has to settle for a second and third, he's willing to do that. But I don't know.
Here comes Ricky Carmichael. He's got his sights on David Villeman over the triple. Getting in position as they go under the bridge. And that whoop section coming out of the bridge.
See Ricky's feet come off the pegs right there. He didn't even let off the power.
Villeman looks to his rear. He sees number 4 on the Kawasaki. Villeman getting good starts this year, but unable to hold those positions out front. Quite the opposite of what he did last year with 12 podiums and 4 wins. Here comes Carmichael on the straightaway, the short straightaway. They go over the bridge now. Take another look.
Watch Ricky comes out of the corner and he tries to take a different line so he can pass if he's got a better run. But watch right about here, his feet get knocked off the pegs. Saves it. Now I'm wondering just how long he can get away with that.
Here they are, bar to bar. Ricky Carmichael on the triple. Has the inside. Villeman in second tries to come back on the other triple, but can't do it.
Ricky just throws the bike sideways in the air going, this is easy. I think I'll do a cross-up while I'm at it.
Look at these 3 bikes. Villeman stumbles in the ropes, but he gets a good block pass on Lusk and holds the second position. He's more concerned with what's behind him. Here comes Ezra on the near side. Ezra fighting for second place behind Carmichael.
Perfect example of how slippery it is, and when you try to rush things a little bit, you get yourself in trouble. We saw Ricky almost go down. Lusk, again, trying to get to that inside, had to take a little bit of a chance on that slick surface. He almost went down.
And now Lusk even looking back at David Villeman as Tim Ferry on the 4-stroke comes up to his teammate's rear. Oh, this is a great qualifying heat round. With Jeremy McGrath winning our first qualifying heat, Ricky Carmichael the second. We'll be right back after these words.
It's time for Suzuki Fest 2001, Suzuki's main sales event. This Suzuki Fest is the biggest ever with over 20 different motorcycles and ATVs to choose from. Right now, you can get up to $400 in your choice of free accessories. Choose from helmets, jackets, winches, backpacks, anything you want when you buy a select Suzuki motorcycle or ATV. Plus, get great financing too. Go to your participating Suzuki dealer by April 30th and come out riding.
Beauty, adventure, drama. All these and more can be yours in the wonderful world of art. And with this free art test from Art Instruction Schools, you can find out if you have the interest and desire needed to become a serious art student. To get your free art test without cost or obligation, call this toll-free number. Don't delay. Call this toll-free number now. Call 1-800-344-8300.
Sports Century is only on ESPN Classic tonight at 8.
Gene Mauch was the greatest third-place manager in history.
He was a visionary as a manager.
I hated playing against him and loved playing for him.
People look at Gene Mauch as a failure because he got to the brink of being to the World Series.
Gene Mauch, Sports Century, the top 50 and beyond. Every weeknight at 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific. Only on ESPN Classic. You can only see Sports Century by calling 1-800-CLASSIC today.
Back at Anaheim, second qualifying round for the 250s. Ricky Carmichael is out in front, but his lap times don't compare with Jeremy's, David.
No, he just dipped under the 56s. He's got a 55.9. It's still not as fast as Jeremy, and he's starting to settle down a little bit more. In the beginning, you heard even Jeremy talk about how he rode a little tight, he needed to relax. This is the part of the race where Ricky's starting to relax a little bit and ride a little bit better.
Ezra Luskin's second, and the battle for third is really the case in point now. David Villeman has slipped back to the final qualifying position in fourth as Tim Ferry, his four-stroke teammate, is in front of him. Let's go to Davey.
Well, you know what, Art? I want to tell you about David Villeman. He has been the biggest disappointment. And I'm not afraid to say that. Everyone's talking about what happened to Villeman after he won just about every international Supercross race he entered last year during the offseason. A lot of people thought he'd be up there with Jeremy. He's not. Well, I asked Jeremy what his opinion of it was. He said that Villeman thought he was going to win the Anaheim opener, but from the moment he lost that heat race early on, got passed by Ezra Lusk, he has not been the same rider. And you know what? He needs a heat race win, at least get second, get back up there, and it's just not happening.
It's the white flag lap. Villeman looks like he will probably qualify, taking the final fourth spot. As we go back to our leader now, Ricky Carmichael out in front.
Over the over-under bridge. Watch him triple this right here. Not easy to do. It's going to get harder during the night.
Carmichael looking for his second consecutive heat victory.
Moving on to the big triple. This is where he's making his passes. That's where he passed for the lead. He jumps to the inside there. He doesn't have to even make the pass. As long as he's on the inside of the guy, he's got to give it to Ricky.
The checkered flag is waiting as Ricky Carmichael makes the turn, and the checkers are out. Ricky Carmichael wins our second qualifying round here in the 250s. The battle for the transfer is still on as 934 David Villeman is trying to hold off. It looks like Nick Way, but Villeman just barely gets in front of Stefan Roncada, number 21. It was Roncada and then Nick Way, number 23. They'll have to go to the semifinal round as we take a look at the Suzuki-sponsored results page. Carmichael, Ezra Lusk, Tim Ferry, David Villeman will advance now to the main event with Roncada and others going to the semis. Davey?
Well, Ricky, just a little while ago, we watched your rival, Jeremy McGrath, have a blistering heat race win. You come back and match it, but I got to tell you, he was a little faster time-wise.
Well, I made a few mistakes there the first couple laps and didn't get a great start. And Jeremy's a great rider. And, you know, we're going to be going back and forth. And I need to wake it up for the main event. And we'll see what happens.
We saw what happened last time, that 20-lap final in San Diego, a race for all ages. Are you ready to do it again?
Well, I'm ready, Dave. You know, I know I'm ready to put in hard 20 laps. I know I can go the distance. And I need a little better start in the main event. And we'll see what we can do.
The stage is set, you and him.
Thanks a lot.
It's a challenge Carmichael will gladly take on. After showing the Supercross world last week, he could win under the lights. This is EA Sports Supercross presented by Speed Stick.
Supercross. With moves like these, you need protection that won't quit. Speed Stick Ultimate. Powerful, long-lasting protection to keep you covered, even if there are some bumps in the road. So go for it. You've got the heavy-duty protection you need as you blaze your own trail. Speed Stick Ultimate.
The great tradition continues on ESPN2. Friday Night Fights. This week's main event, Julian Letterlow takes on Julio Gonzalez in a 12-round light heavyweight battle. Friday Night Fights, tomorrow at 9 on ESPN2.
The best place to keep up with Supercross during the week is on ESPN.com. So many fans are now hearing the live play-by-play webcast of each race every Saturday night, and then joining the chat sessions every Thursday night featuring a top rider from the series. This week, it'll be David Pingree, the guest on the chat session. Travis Pastrana had some difficulties last week. We hear from the kid himself in his Chapter 199.
In the heat race, it was great. Got to start out behind my idol, Jeremy McGrath. Should have been really good, but on the first lap, I washed out while I was in second. Got back up, passed a couple guys, and moved right into third. Felt really good. On the last lap, came up short on a jump, and Larocco landed right on my rear tire. Just kind of blew the whole thing. Had to go to the semis, rode really conservatively just to make sure I didn't crash. In the main event, went really well for the first half a lap, and then I don't really remember a thing. I went over the bars and the whoops, had a concussion, but my Suzuki was running great. It felt so good in the whoops all night. I have no idea what happened.
There is absolutely nothing like seeing EA Sports Supercross in person. The upcoming locations are on the screen. The sounds, the smells, the sights of this sport were meant to be experienced live and in person. Not only can you enjoy Supercross history unfolding before your eyes, but you can also experience the pageantry and seeing the machines up close while cruising the pits. Meet the riders, get some autographs, get your tickets soon to Supercross nearest you. Well, the semifinals proved to be a very interesting story, David Bailey, as we had a couple of top riders having to go to the semis.
Well, the good news is Ron Cotta and Sebastian Tortelli will be transferring to the main event. Ron Cotta, a great rider who led here in the first race, passing Jeremy a couple of times. Tortelli, his first ride back, he's in the main. Probably doesn't want to have to put too much wear and tear on that shoulder, but he had to in the semi. Larocco's also in there.
Well, we talked with Sebastian earlier about the injury that kept him out of the first 2 rounds.
My French doctor put my shoulder back in place, and still today, the bruise was very important, so that was a big impact. That's why I couldn't ride last weekend. I tried to ride. I mean, doing the triples and everything was fine, but the whoops were killing me. So, 1 week of rest, I think I'm going to make it. Definitely I rode on the track this week, and the track was good, and the whoops went fine. So hopefully, this weekend, that'll be the same thing.
The crowd anxiously awaiting to see if Jeremy McGrath can come back here in his house, or will RC again steal the glory. Number 5, Mike Larocco, as we go back in the pits, getting ready for the main event. Roger DeCoster leading on Travis Pastrana's number 199. The 250 main is next from Anaheim.
More riders. More classes. More championships. More than ever. Suzuki. Rising stars to superstars.
A chunky Super Bowl moment. Terrell Davis's mom filled him up right with new Campbell's Chunky Grilled Sirloin and Vegetables. Fired up by this chunky grilled classic, Terrell made like grilled steak and sizzled.
Look, this is a dirty fuel injector. This is a clean one. As you can see, cleaner works better. That's why I use STP fuel injector cleaner in my car. I add STP every time I change my oil. STP, it's basic car maintenance.
Give it up for Mr. Heart Attack, Billy!
This January, it begins.
If I couldn't win, I definitely wouldn't be out here.
Prepare yourself.
I'm looking to do a lot better this year than last year.
You've never seen anything like this.
Bar to bar, we go into the triple.
EA Sports Supercross.
been my dream my entire life to come out and race professional races.
The Ultimate Motorcycle Racing Series explodes nationwide, so get tickets now.
We just got to get the season started and let things happen.
The crowd can't believe what they're seeing. Last week's classic battle between Ricky Carmichael and Jeremy McGrath had many remembering the 1986 matchup here in Anaheim between David Bailey and Ricky Johnson. This race has been labeled the greatest Supercross of all time. Whereas most of the back-and-forth action last week took place in the first 10 laps, the Bailey versus Johnson marathon test of endurance came toward the end of the race. Scott Burnworth got the hole shot with Rick Johnson challenging. Bar to bar, they landed together. Johnson throws the elbow, and Burnworth is history. Bailey was on the move from fifth, and in 6 laps caught up with his rival Honda teammate. Back and forth it went. Pass after pass. It had the fans jumping up and down until finally Bailey pulled away with only 2 laps to go. Bailey's remembered for winning one of the best Supercross races of all time. Johnson came back to win the title that year. That 1986 race was just incredible, David Bailey.
Well, you know, I think of myself a little bit like Jeremy, riding smooth and in control, and Ricky Carmichael riding a lot like Rick Johnson did. That's what we saw last week, and hope we're going to see a lot more of that this season.
Well, these fans are really anxiously awaiting the first round of the Vans Triple Crown. The next round will be in Dallas, and then the final one in Las Vegas. $500,000 if one rider wins all 3. They said it would be near impossible, but last year, David Villeman won the first 2 rounds before not taking the victory in Las Vegas, and he copped the $25,000 consolation prize on the way. Looking for his 8th win in 10 races here in Anaheim, Jeremy McGrath. Ricky Carmichael looking for his 2nd win in a row. Then we've got Kevin Windham and Ezra Lusk, who's the 2nd winningest active rider. Pastrana and Ferry at the gate ready to go, as Lampson and Villeman are as well. Roncada and Craig, Tortelli, LaRocco, Lewis, Byrne, Way, Ramsey, Jean-Sebastian Roy, Michael Brown, Robbie Raynard and Isaiah Johnson. That is the entire 20-rider gate as we're all set to go, David Bailey.
You see Villeman way to the inside. Carmichael over just a couple of spots. He's got Lusk to his right, and then McGrath just to the right of Lusk.
The crowd is cheering a crescendo now as they rev the machines, and we're underway. The main event from Anaheim, round 3. Oh my goodness, did you see that move by Ricky Carmichael? And in a fight for 2nd place, McGrath loses it. It looked like to Villeman.
Unbelievable. Looked like McGrath got the whole shot, but he couldn't get through that first jump sequence. The timing was just off. He had to slow down. He gambled. I think he'll go to the inside. It didn't work. Carmichael just shot into the lead. Now he's got a buffer back there.
Boy, will this be interesting, David Bailey, with Carmichael, Villeman, McGrath, and then Lusk behind McGrath.
Lusk is right there. Lusk is just as talented as Kevin Windham. We talk about the throttle control of those guys. Lusk will be there.
All the fans are standing here in Anaheim. McGrath starting to make his move on David Villeman in the whoops. Can't quite get him this time. Carmichael, Villeman, McGrath. Villeman looks back to see where Jeremy is.
That's over now.
Jeremy just blitzes by him going into that first turn.
Villeman's just too worried about what's going on with the other riders. He's not racing the track like he did last year.
Here we go again. Man against man. No lockers in front. They can break away. Carmichael and McGrath once again.
I have a feeling, talking with everyone, that McGrath's going to play a little bit different game here with Ricky up front. I don't think he's going to try to pass him a bunch of times and get in a battle. He's going to let the race settle in, make sure they're far enough ahead of 3rd. That'll be the main thing. And then just put the pressure on Ricky. Let him deal with that for a little bit longer. Every time that McGrath was passing him last week, Ricky had that energy and he was able to pass him right back.
The battle for third as Velasquez and David Villeman, number 11, on the Team Honda in the whoops. Getting by Villeman, and Villeman slips back once again.
Yeah, Velasquez, I said he'd be there, and he had to make that pass happen quick. He did it. Now he's going to set his sights on Jeremy.
Boy, this is a smart race season for Velasquez, coming off that season-long Supercross injury of last year.
Well, I give it to Villeman for getting out there. Usually when a guy isn't feeling real confident, he's not really chomping at the bit to get the whole shot. Because it doesn't feel good to get passed by 5 or 6 guys, but he's out there trying as hard as he can. He knows he's got to pick up the pace a little bit here in Anaheim and then really hit his stride next week in Phoenix to have a shot at this title.
There's Velasquez right in front of Villeman now. He had a 2nd and a 4th already on this season, and he's moved into 3rd. The crowd's getting excited. They are just going nuts over this battle out front.
Well, they're going nuts because McGrath just made up all that time with the fastest lap time of the night. Ricky can feel it.
55.5 seconds for Jeremy McGrath on the last lap. Here comes Jeremy. The crowd is so anticipatory. They're at the edge of their seats right now.
I think McGrath is having a good time right now. He loves this. He was bummed out in San Diego last week when he wasn't able to continue the battle.
Do you think he got overly exhausted with the back-and-forth battle early?
It's hard to say exactly what happened, but I think he just got a little flustered, and a few things went wrong for him. Some bad decisions with bike setup, tires, etc. And Ricky got a little gap on him, was able to triple through a section that Jeremy actually started. And Jeremy wasn't able to do it as clean in the main event, so he never got close enough to make that battle happen.
I think if Jeremy passes Carmichael, he'll handle it differently than he has in years past, because he just wants to get out of the West in the hunt. Here comes Jeremy, but a good angle by Carmichael. Bar to bar we go over the finish line. McGrath looks at Carmichael. Carmichael does not look at Jeremy, and Jeremy makes the pass.
Could you see that? Like through the whoops, he was setting it up. He went down wide, squared him again at the finish. Ricky comes right back.
Plastic. We could see a little more contact in this race if it stays close.
Well, I wouldn't put it past Ricky to get in there and bump a little bit. He has before, but I have a feeling that Jeremy, he doesn't like to have it done to him. I don't think he's going to dish it out unless he's really provoked. These guys have too much respect for each other. I think maybe right now, if Ricky can't stay with Jeremy, it's over, because Jeremy is so talented on this slick track, and he's so dominant in this stadium.
These guys are different. I mean, you can tell. They take pride in what they do. They moved our entire family, everything we own, across the country. Now that's a big job. I was worried, but they got us there on time. They made a promise, and they kept it. They're JK Moving and Storage. I know, it's not rocket science, but they treat it like it is. JK Moving and Storage. These guys are different. They really care.
Come to Williams Martial Arts and Fitness, where you can expect the best.
Call Williams Martial Arts and Fitness Center at 858-3800.
This weekend, Friday at 9 on ESPN, it's day 1 of the Winter X Games. Then, starting Saturday at 7, the NHL All-Star Weekend begins with the Heroes of Hockey game. And at 8, the NHL's Elite face off in the Dodge NHL Super Skills Competition. Later at 11:30 on ESPN2, it's a special NHL Tonight with Barry Melrose live from Denver. Do you have all the ESPN networks?
14 laps to go in a 20-lap main event of 250s from Anaheim, California in round 3. Travis Pastrana reluctantly had to leave the track. Very slowly, but he was on the bike. As we look at the battle for first place, it is still a battle. Carmichael is still holding tight as Velasquez has gone down. Number 11, a Team Honda. Mike LaRocco, who's tied with Velasquez points, is back in 9th.
There's a shot at Travis. He rode off the track. He was in fourth, having a great run. I didn't see what happened. He rode off the track, got off the bike, and just sat there. Something was obviously wrong. He's got an amazing threshold for pain. Saw him last year riding in a cast so many times. Must be pretty serious for him to pull off.
Innovation Sports SFX Dr. Bodner over there looking at him right now as it close. The battle gets closer. The battle gets closer as Jeremy McGrath and Ricky Carmichael have just left the field behind.
Well, you know, it looked like to me, I just talked about, it seemed like Jeremy might be content to just sit back there and put the pressure on Ricky a little bit longer and change his strategy a little bit from the way he raced him in San Diego. But now it's the opposite. Ricky's back there hanging with his pace.
Here's the battle for sixth now with David Villeman. Villeman and Mike LaRocco behind him. LaRocco number 5 and Villeman without a rear mirror just lets him go. And now he comes back with a good short move.
Now he anticipated what Mike was committed to and timed it perfect. But Mike's not going to have any of that.
Mike LaRocco now starting to steam up as he moves past Villeman. In the 6th place, Tim Ferry is next on the list in front in the Yamaha 4-stroke. Let's go down to Davey Combs trackside. Davey.
Well, actually, I'm not trackside, Art. I'm down here in the tunnel with Team Suzuki in the Pastranas. Dr. John Bodner was talking to Travis. The only person who got a chance to talk to him was Jeff Stan of Team Honda. He said Travis pulled off the track, said he didn't know where he was, and literally fell off the bike. No crash, no problem with his knees. He just passed out on the bike.
Boy, that doesn't sound good at all. Mike LaRocco has started to clear his way away from David Villeman right now. Well, Ricky Carmichael's keeping up his lap speed, that's for sure. As we go back up front, and you see the distance between Carmichael on the Kawasaki and number 1 on the Mazda Yamaha, Jeremy McGrath.
See, McGrath, though, Art, can run this pace with Ricky back there until his bike runs out of gas. Ricky's got to be closer than this to really bother Jeremy. Ricky knows he's not going to get tired either. He can ride this pace forever, but he's got to get up there a little bit closer, so it's a problem.
Look how slick it is right before that finish line jump, David.
See the way these guys handle that corner, too. Ricky getting his leg out in the air, so when he lands, it's one less thing to do. He can be that much quicker in the next corner. You see him, they're starting to really steer a little bit different and take the opposite line of what the main groove is so they can get out there in that darker, more loamy soil and hook up.
Let's go back to Davey.
Guys, it's kind of strange but high drama down here. I just talked to Debbie Pastrana, Travis's mom. He did not crash any this week. He hasn't had the flu, but they're going to take him to the hospital. They want to do a CAT scan. They think he might have some lingering problem. It's hard to tell, but they are going to take Travis out of the stadium and off to the hospital.
Maybe from that endo, Davey, you think?
Well, Art, it's hard to tell. Nothing happened this week. Debbie, according to her, was with him all week. He was fine. He did not crash today. They really think that it might be food poisoning or something. They're just not sure.
I just hope it's not a lingering effect from the endo from San Diego.
Yeah, me too. It's unfortunate because he was putting together a really smart ride. He seemed to have learned from last week where he crashed several times, running a solid 4th. I talked to my dad this afternoon after practice. I asked him, how do you think Ricky's going to do, or Travis? He goes, oh, 4th.
There you have Mike LaRocco making a pass on Tim Ferry. So LaRocco comes up through the ranks. He moves into 5th. Kevin Windham is in 4th. Stefan Roncada is in 3rd behind Carmichael. This is more like the Mike LaRocco we're used to seeing coming up through the ranks.
day, AmeriDebt helps more people with money problems.
My credit card debt was outrageous. Then I called AmeriDebt. They contacted my creditors and got my payments almost cut in half.
AmeriDebt is a nonprofit organization that offers free consultations to consumers seeking to eliminate their debt.
Every month I pay our credit card bills, but the balances never seem to get smaller.
AmeriDebt got our interest rates reduced, and now the balances are dropping dramatically.
Call 1-800-848-4600. AmeriDebt, helping America get out of debt.
We're a winner, and never let anybody say, boy, you can't make it.
To appreciate the destination of now, one must recall the journey. ESPN remembers. ESPN respects the game. ESPN recognizes the name. For more, log on to ESPN.com. I'm Spike Lee for Black History Month.
We return to Edison International Field in Anaheim, California, and another barn burner between Jeremy McGrath and Ricky Carmichael. 4 laps to go, and RC has stepped up the heat on number 1. Can RC pass Jeremy one more time? They're headed for the whoops.
I don't care what these guys say. That's got to be on their mind a little bit.
Here comes Ricky Carmichael. Oh, and those whoops, he picks up the time, goes to the inside, can't get the block pass.
See, Jeremy's way out wide now. He can feel the pressure. It altered his lines. I don't think Jeremy rattles very easy, but Ricky's the guy that can do it right now.
Ricky Carmichael won the one-on-one affair in San Diego last week, and here he comes once again to put the pressure to the icon. The 7-time champion feels that pressure. He knows he cannot afford a mistake.
Well, he's been able to do it 71 times mistake-free, but this one really counts, Art. This matters. This is for the momentum of this series. Whoever wins this race may just have the edge for the championship.
Jeremy has only been beaten twice in a row, 8 times, and he's in his 9th season. There's the lap time, the last lap. Oh, they bang! McGrath takes the lead. Almost gave it back to him.
I think he knew. I don't think he meant to run into Jeremy quite like that. He was committed. He's going, you know what? You can have it back because I don't want to pass you that way. I have a feeling that's what's going on in Ricky's head. And Jeremy probably appreciates it right now. That's the respect they talk about. Look, he's going for the inside. He can't quite get it made. He tries to turn. He knows Jeremy's mad. He knows he better get the heck out of the way in this next corner. See him look over? He just goes, go ahead. He didn't even try to turn.
Still, Carmichael's within striking distance now. Nothing but clean passes in his victory in San Diego. But that's the respect and the sportsmanship that these two people have for one another. Ricky Carmichael comes up into the rear tire of Jeremy McGrath.
Here they are in the same section again. Watch Ricky's momentum.
3 laps to go as we go into the whoops.
He's faster through the whoops, Art, but it's not pretty. His feet are off the peg. He's hanging on for dear life. He looks smooth everywhere else. That whoop section is cringe every time I see him go through there. He was riding on the edge.
Both bikes getting by the lapper with little harm. Well, this isn't like the 80s when you were out in front block passing with Ricky Johnson, etc.
No,
you had to look out.
Yeah, it was bumper cars in those days, but now that it's been so long since we've seen any of that, Jeremy is, Davey Coombs brought it up one time, hey, it's like Jordan, if you touch him, it's a foul.
Ricky Carmichael still in pursuit of Jeremy McGrath with only 2 laps to go. The crowd sensing the excitement right now. They're on their feet.
Carmichael knows where he's faster than Jeremy, and he's just holding on to that right now.
Oh, Jeremy makes a little mistake. Carmichael to the inside, but Jeremy has great acceleration as he comes across the finish line jump. The white flag is waving. 1 more lap to go. This is an incredible race in Anaheim.
Jeremy better protect that inside this whole lap because Ricky will run it in there and make an ugly pass if he has to. He wants to win this race.
He showed him a tire there, David.
Jeremy can feel it. I don't think Jeremy's ever been this nervous ever in his career on the final lap.
Ricky Carmichael is forcing Jeremy to reach back to all of that experience, all of that knowledge that he acquired in winning 7 championships in 8 years.
Ricky's got to be close to have a chance in that whoop section, that final corner.
That's what it's going to come down to, it appears. They go on the triple. They'll go under the bridge. Into the whoops. Here comes Carmichael. The checkers for Jeremy. Incredible race here at Anaheim in round 3. He was pressured the entire way. He looks to the stars as they shake hands.
That acknowledgement right there. You see Jeremy, he's pointing to the turn. Hey, thanks. Gives him a thumbs up. He goes, hey, I know you didn't mean to hit me like that. He knows that Ricky gave it back to him in fairness. It's a long series. These guys don't need to be throwing blows right now. That hug right there tells us these guys are going to be around for a long time, giving us great shows.
The one thing it shows us is we can look forward to this kind of racing all year long.
Oh, yeah.
A great picture after a great victory.
Excuse me, I'm searching for a real man.
Perhaps he can be of assistance. He's so radical and extreme.
Surely he's not human.
Hey, Vern, isn't that the guy who stole your wife? What?
EA Sports, Supercross, it's in the game.
Look, it's rated E for everyone.
2 eager CEOs. One encouraged his employees to read the Wall Street Journal. The other did not. Let's join them for their 5-year anniversaries and see what happened. Imagine what the Journal could do for you. It's now easier to get the Journal to help you. Get 8 weeks of the Wall Street Journal for just 37 cents a day. That's 50% off the regular rate. Call 800-469-1600. That's 800-469-1600 for the Wall Street Journal.
The most amazing sports moments of the year? This is just one of them.
Go in.
The ESPY Awards. The red carpet special begins at 8 Eastern, followed by the ESPY Awards at 9, February 12th on ESPN.
EA Sports Supercross is brought to you by Suzuki, the reigning AMA 125 National Motocross and Arena Cross champion. By Speedstick, presenting sponsor of EA Sports Supercross. And by Honda, the company that defines performance on 2 wheels. Performance first. Taking a look at the Honda's results page for this race here at Anaheim, it's Jeremy McGrath, Ricky Carmichael, Kevin Windham holding on to 3rd, Mike LaRocco in 4th, and Ferry, Villeman, Stefan Roncada, Nathan Ramsey, Nick Way, a good 125 East rider, just tuning up with the 250s, has done very well in the top 10 in the first 3 rounds. Steve Lampson, there you see the old veteran Kyle Lewis, John Sebastian Waugh, and Travis Pastrana on his way to the hospital for a CAT scan.
Oh, man, Jeremy, I got to tell you, that was an amazing race. You and Ricky Carmichael the whole way. First of all, tell us about the contact.
Well, I don't think it was intentional, really. I think Ricky was holding that tight line in the whoops, and he came in the corner, and I was kind of going middle, fading outside, and then turning sharp and going down. And he came in a little hot, and I don't think it was intentional. That was good racing.
Well, while we have Ricky right here, Ricky, let me ask you, after you guys made the contact, did you give the champ respect? Did you pull out purposely?
Oh, no. I mean, I figured he was going to, get me back, so I didn't want to take a risk of hitting his back tire. But, I kept going in there inside, and he squared it off tight, and I was there. I mean, I don't want to race dirty, so, but it was a good race. It was a good race, I was behind him the whole time, and this track is so slippery, it's hard to charge, and hats off to him. He beat me fair and square.
Jeremy McGrath has had challengers in the past, but we might be seeing his first Supercross rivalry taking form here. RC is there to stay. McGrath on the Honda points chart, 3 points in front of RC. Let's check in with Davey about Travis Pastrana's condition.
John, we just saw the ambulance roll away with Travis Pastrana. Can you tell us what you know?
Well, right now it looks like he's feeling the effects of that injury he had last week where he got knocked out for a short time. So on a precautionary note, we're going to send him to the hospital now, get a CAT scan of his head, and go from there.
What are the chances that Travis will be out a week or two? Do you have any idea?
Well, it's possible he'll be back next week. We'll have to wait to see what the tests show first.
Thanks, Doc.
Okay, thank you.
Our hopes and prayers with Travis Pastrana here this evening. Round 3, McGrath and Carmichael separated by only 9 1,000.